The Big Hook. For more than 4,500 years, the Great Pyramid of Giza has stood in the desert like a message carved into stone. It is the last surviving wonder of the ancient world. It has survived earthquakes, invasions, sandstorms, and time itself. Yet today, in the age of satellites, lasers, and supercomputers, we still do not fully understand how it was built. It contains 2.3 million stones, some weighing as much as a bus, placed with machine-level precision, perfectly aligned to the cardinal directions, resting on a foundation that is almost perfectly flat. Egyptians built it without steel wheels, modern cranes, engines, electricity. So how did they do it? Today you will hear the best theories, the latest discoveries, and the closest version of the truth we currently have, the structure that should not exist. Before we talk about how it was built, we need to understand what makes it nearly impossible. The Great Pyramid, also known as the Pyramid of Khufu, originally stood 146 meters tall. Today it is slightly shorter because the outer casing stones were removed. But even in its damaged state, it remains one of the most precise buildings ever made. Here are the shocking facts. Its sides face true north, with only 3 arc minutes of error. Its base is almost perfectly square. Its corners are aligned with astonishing accuracy. The floor is level within 2 centimeters. The stones fit so tightly that even a razor blade cannot slip between them. The pyramid was built on a massive limestone bedrock platform, carved and smoothed like a giant table. Inside it, shafts that point to star constellations, a granite chamber built from 70-ton blocks, ventilation tunnels that remain a mystery, pressure relief chambers above the king's chamber, and newly discovered voids inside the structure. So how did ancient Egyptians, with no computers or modern tools, achieve all of this? The workforce. Not slaves, but skilled builders. The real builders of the pyramids were not who most people think. For decades, Hollywood and old textbooks claimed slaves built the pyramids. This is false. Archaeologists discovered workers' villages, bakeries, workshops, medical buildings, private graves for workers. Builders were buried beside the pyramid, something that would never be done for slaves. These workers were engineers, stone cutters, rope makers, carpenters, surveyors, water transporters, supervisors. Around 20,000 to 30,000 workers lived near the site. They worked in rotating teams, paid with food, housing, beer, and honor. They were proud Egyptians, building a national monument. But even with thousands of skilled workers, moving millions of stones is still unbelievable. Moving millions of stones. How do you drag a 10-ton rock across the desert with no wheels? Theory 1. Sledges on wet sand. Paintings in the tomb of Jehutihotep show workers pulling huge statues on sledges. A man pours water in front of the sledge. Scientists discovered that wet sand becomes twice as firm as dry sand. This reduces friction dramatically. This means one team could pull massive stones easier than we thought. Theory 2. Boats and canals. Many stones came from quarries far away. The largest granite blocks came from Aswan, almost 900 kilometers south. How were they moved? Egyptologists discovered remains of a lost water channel near the pyramids. Workers likely loaded stones on boats, sailed them along the Nile, entered man-made canals, unloaded stones near the construction site. Some excavations show a harbor area next to the pyramids. Theory 3. Wooden cradles. Some believe stones were wrapped in wooden frames, creating a rolling motion like a barrel. Experiments show this can be done with fewer people. Mystery solved? Not quite. Moving stones is easy compared to lifting them. Lifting the stones. The real challenge. This is where theories become battles. 1. The straight ramp theory, a huge ramp stretching from the ground to the top of the pyramid. Problems. It would need to be over 1 mile long. It would require more material than the pyramid. No remains of such a ramp have been found. Most experts consider this theory unlikely. 2. The zigzag ramp theory. A ramp wrapped around the pyramid like a spiral. This solves the too long problem. But there's no strong evidence of zigzag ramp foundations either. 3. The internal ramp theory, most convincing, proposed by architect Jean-Pierre Houdin. He suggests the pyramid contains a hidden ramp inside its walls. The ramp spirals upward. Stones were pulled inside the pyramid, not outside. Evidence? Thermal scans show strange voids. 3D images show straight lines consistent with internal pathways. The turning spaces match ancient engineering techniques. This theory solves all major problems. The pyramid is so perfectly aligned that even modern engineers call it impossible. So how did people 4,500 years ago do it? The Great Pyramid of Giza is aligned to true north with an accuracy of 0.05 degrees. That's so precise that even modern buildings with lasers miss this accuracy. Compasses cannot achieve this precision. Architects still debate how it was done. To put it in simple terms, if the pyramid was the size of a football field, its alignment would be off by only a few centimeters. But here's the shocking part. The Egyptians did this with no GPS, no compasses, no metal instruments, no advanced mathematics, no satellites, no modern surveying tools. So how? Let's look at the most realistic ancient techniques. Tracking the stars. One of the strongest theories is that Egyptians used the stars, not the sun. 2 stars in the night sky, Kochab and Mizar, rotate around the north celestial pole. When a simple wooden tool called the merket was pointed at these 2 stars, the line between them pointed almost exactly to true north. This tool is basically a string, a weight, a wooden base. That's all. Yet with practice, this tool can achieve incredible precision. The shadow stick technique. With only a stick placed upright in the ground, Egyptians could track the shortest shadow during the day. This moment marks the north-south line. From this, they established the base orientation simple, but extremely effective. Water-leveling Egyptians filled long trenches with water. Because water always finds a perfect level, this allowed them to create a completely flat foundation, set stones evenly, build straight lines. We still use water leveling in construction today. Why so much precision? The pyramid wasn't just a building. It was a symbol, a spiritual machine, a message. The Egyptians believed the pharaoh's soul traveled through the stars. The pyramid connected heaven and earth. The structure reflected divine order. Precision was part of their religion. But if the alignment is impressive, the purpose behind all this precision is even more mysterious. The purpose behind the perfection. The Great Pyramid wasn't built just to bury a king. It was built to express an idea. Most people think the Great Pyramid was simply a tomb for Pharaoh Khufu. But this explanation is far too simple, and scholars now reject it. Evidence the pyramid was more than a tomb. No mummies were ever found inside. No burial treasures were found. No hieroglyphs are carved inside. The internal chambers do not match typical Egyptian tomb designs. So what was it? Let's explore the deeper functions. A spiritual machine. Egyptians believed the pharaoh became a god after death. The pyramid's shape symbolized a ray of sunlight, rising upward. That is why the pyramid's angles match the angle of sunlight at certain times of the year. It wasn't just a monument, it was a vehicle for the soul, an astronomical symbol. The pyramid's star shafts point directly to important stars: Orion, Sirius, Thuban. These stars represented gods and destinations in the afterlife. This alignment was not an accident. It was a cosmic map carved into stone. A mathematical statement. The pyramid is a geometry book written in stone. It encodes advanced knowledge. Pi, phi, the golden ratio. Ratios match an Earth's circumference. Perfect right angles, perfect cardinal alignment. This shows Egyptians had advanced math and astronomy much earlier than people think for. A national project. The pyramid unified Egypt. Tens of thousands of workers from all over the kingdom came to build it. It was a point of national pride, similar to how countries today build. Skyscrapers, stadiums, bridges, monuments. The Great Pyramid was Egypt's "we can do anything" statement 5. A time capsule. Some researchers believe the pyramid was designed to last forever, to survive floods, wars, and ages. A message for the future, a monument to human knowledge, an eternal symbol of order. And speaking of knowledge, the pyramid holds numbers and patterns we still struggle to explain. The mathematical mystery. The builders of the pyramid understood math at a level that should not have been possible. The Great Pyramid contains numbers that appear shockingly advanced for an ancient civilization. Let's break them down. 1. The pi ratio. If you divide the pyramid's perimeter by its height, you get 2 pi, the formula for a circle, but the pyramid is a square. Why does it encode the geometry of a circle? This suggests the builders understood circle-square relationships long before Greece or Rome too. The golden ratio, phi. The slope angle of the pyramid corresponds almost perfectly to the golden ratio, 1.618. This ratio appears in Nature, Human Bodies, Art, Music. Architecture. It gives the pyramid a natural visual harmony. 3. Earth's size hidden in stone. If you scale the pyramid by a large factor, its base equals the circumference of Earth, and its height equals Earth's radius. We don't know whether this is a coincidence, or whether ancient Egyptians had far more knowledge than we think. 4. Perfect geometry. The base is so perfectly square that opposite sides are nearly identical. The corners align at perfect right angles. The diagonals match with extraordinary precision. Even today, building something this accurate would be difficult. 5. Star alignments. The 3 pyramids in Giza align with the 3 stars of Orion's belt, the Milky Way sunrise and sunset on important days, ancient seasons and festivals. This shows the entire Giza complex was a cosmic calendar 6. Resonance frequencies in the king's chamber when sound is made inside the granite chamber. The room vibrates, the walls hum, the air resonates at a natural frequency. Some believe this was intentional. Others say it was a side effect of the perfect geometry. Either way, it is unique. No other ancient building does this. 7. Advanced planning. To build a structure this large, the Egyptians needed exact measuring techniques, precise layout maps, surveying knowledge, geometry, astronomical observations, yet no blueprints were found, possibly because the knowledge was memorized or destroyed over time. In the end, the pyramid is not just a tomb, it is a message written in stone, in numbers, angles, stars, and geometry. Even with modern research, there are things we still do not understand. The purpose of the void discovered above the Grand Gallery, how workers placed 70-ton granite beams so high, the extreme accuracy without modern tools, why no blueprints exist, how the internal chambers were laid out so perfectly. Every year, technology reveals more secrets, but parts of the pyramid remain beyond explanation. So how was it really built? Hook. Now let's answer the question everyone asks. The most reliable explanation combines many theories. The truth, based on evidence. Tens of thousands of skilled workers, not slaves, stones transported through canals, boats, and sledges, friction reduced by wet sand, lifting done by internal ramps, or a combination of ramps, alignment achieved through astronomy and water leveling. Construction took 20 to 30 years. Egyptian society was highly organized, educated, and disciplined. The Great Pyramid is not a mystery because of aliens or lost technology. It is a mystery because of human genius, the kind we rarely see today. The Great Pyramid was the greatest construction project in human history. A project of passion, science, mathematics, engineering, and faith. And despite everything we know, it still holds secrets waiting to be discovered.